God. During that countdown and that intro, I just absolutely smashed the fuck out of my knee.
Nice.
I'm all right. I'm all right. I'm living. I'm all right. I hope everyone else is all right. Christ.
You did that quick.
Oh, Jesus. What a time. That was a good timing on my knee.
The bomb exploded.
It
did. Thought Lizzie was dead.
Yeah, it was unexpected as well.
For a second, there was a little bit of dread in me because I didn't hear the explosion before I felt it because the shockwave hit the windows. And I thought, the windows are going to go through now. But they didn't. They survived. No one was injured, as far as I know. Few houses, obviously, nearer the bomb, they got their windows blown in and a few cars got damaged. And apparently there's like £1 million worth of damage to the flood defences, the seawall. But, yeah, other than that...
Oh, shit.
Yeah, pretty...
I've got a funny story about the bomb, actually. So my dad, who's a builder, obviously in this area, is in a group chat. And when this bomb got discovered, it all kind of like went crazy in this group chat, yeah. And they were like, I'm not going to name names, not that it matters, but it's like this guy in the group chat is like, you'll never guess who found the fucking bomb, right? And then they said this guy's name. Now, this guy got fired from my dad's company because he was a fucking liability. Like, if he was ever digging, he'd dig through pipes. If he was ever driving through sites, he'd fucking hit overhead cables. They were like, the fact that this guy didn't just go straight through this bomb is a fucking miracle.
Jesus.
So apparently the guy that found the bomb has been known to go through pipes and all sorts of shit, and he managed to not go through a quarter. Was it a quarter or half a ton bomb?
Yeah, it looked
half a ton,
hefty, didn't it?
Yeah.
Fucking
Jesus Christ.
So mad.
That is mad.
Yeah.
The chances of that as well, like the just that lining up, that level of just absolute abject misery of, I don't know, conscientiousness meeting a bomb. And it's like he's gonna drive over it. He's gonna put something through it.
You can imagine him like picking it up in his little tractor and then just driving it back.
Yeah,
I
also heard, but this might not be true. I also heard that when they fucking brought it to shore, they were actually kicking it.
Oh no!
Yeah, like, one of these guys received a Snapchat of the guys kicking the bomb.
That's hilarious.
Yeah. So,
that's a dummy one, isn't it? It's not gonna go off. It's a dummy one.
Yeah, I mean, definitely wasn't a dummy, was it?
No, it fucking wasn't. That's mental. That was just sat there the whole time. That's crazy, isn't it?
Yeah,
that is like the amount of movement and the amount of work that's gone on around there for like 2 years now.
Yeah,
and that was
there's probably more in there as well.
Probably, I'll tell you what, when that bridge is finished, if it is finished, they'll find like 2 more, and then the bridge will never be used again. It'll be blown up.
After all that work and money.
So, is what it is. But yeah, that was.
Imagine they finish the bridge and then just the last bit, they open it up and they just clip one, and then it's like,
yeah,
bridge down.
Fuck's sake! Better put Yarmouth on the map for a bit, didn't it?
I did. Someone's got to keep the news going, and it was Yarmouth's turn.
There you go.
That's so funny. I visited Cromer the other day.
Oh, nice.
Yeah, went up.
I went quite close.
What did we eat? I went to like a restaurant there, and then there's a fish
crab.
number one fish. Nah, I've had crab before. I'm not a fan.
Cromer
crab. I would have if I hadn't had it before. I got it at Christmas actually in the Isle of Wight. And I thought I liked crab, but I don't.
Not this fucking crab.
I got mussels. I got local mussels.
Oh, nice.
Mussels.
Locally sourced.
Yeah, I love a little plate of mussels.
Nice.
Mussels. I don't think I've ever had mussels.
I'm not the biggest seafood man, to be honest.
No. I'm not usually. I don't eat fish. I'll say cod, but that's a bit as extravagant as I get. Yeah, I do like mussels.
Nice.
What's your level then, Jordan? Of like, where'd you go as far as like fish and
pretty much cod from a fish and chip shop is as far as I'll go. And even that is a stretch.
Any
Fisherman's
prawns?
pie? No, hate prawns.
Oh, that's it. You know what I mean?
No, can't be dealing with that. Yeah. I don't mind prawn cocktail crisps.
There you go. No, that counts. That's there.
Not sure how many prawns are in there.
Yeah, no, exactly. But yeah, no, I'm not. I just don't like the fishy taste. Don't like the fishy smell.
Fair play.
It's not keen.
Yeah, the smell is like something that would definitely put me off. But I do
it
like
does linger.
Yeah.
The mussels, you eat them. I eat them with the shell, and like
yeah.
Oh, okay.
It did linger for about 24 hours. I've washed my hands.
Oh,
it's just
wow.
Muscly, fishy smell just did linger.
Does it not?
I think there's garlic in the sauce as well. So.
Oh, right. I was saying, don't mussels just taste like chewy seawater?
Yeah, a little bit. I mean, I don't know. It's a weird. Yeah, it's a strange taste. I think it's more the sauce I like. If I'm totally honest.
Garlic sauce.
Love a garlic sauce.
Creamy sauce. Yeah. Yeah, just leave all the mussels and just have the sauce. I just like dipping the bread in the sauce. Just get a bowl of mussel sauce, please. Do you want the mussels? Nah, mate.
No, just the sauce. Less of the mussels. No, fair play, yeah. Oh, yeah, I went near Cromer. I went for a walk around Blickling Hall, which I think is right near, maybe a few miles off from Cromer. But yeah, just last Sunday. It was quite nice.
Cromer's quite nice.
Yeah, Cromer is nice. North Norfolk, you can't really go wrong.
No.
It is nice.
It's worlds away from Great Yarmouth, but there we go.
I mean, yeah, you compare Great Yarmouth to Sheringham, good God.
Yeah,
it's definitely an upgrade.
Yeah. Yeah.
You should come down there. You should come down to Yarmouth just to compare it, Dan. Just have a quick.
We have holidayed in Yarmouth before for like a long weekend, and it's just funny.
Yeah.
But yeah, I mean the views off like the cliff, next level. Obviously, it was freezing, but if you take away the cold, you could be like anywhere in the world. It was really like picturesque and like nice long beaches as well.
Yeah.
I imagine it gets quite rammed in the summer.
Oh, yes.
Yeah, insane,
yeah. Well,
but no aliens.
That's it. I was going to say enough about beaches, but it does kind of link in a little bit of aliens, I guess. If they found,
I was going to do a video about this yesterday, but my motivation was through the floor, so I didn't. But it's going to be an interesting conversation. I kind of studied it a little bit.
Cool.
Okay. I've come into it knowing that they've found 4 UFOs or whatever they call them now, because it's not UFOs, but they found 4 of them. They've shot 4 of them down, I believe.
Yeah.
One of them obviously was the Chinese surveillance balloon or weather balloon, whatever they will call it. And the other ones, they haven't actually released that a lot of information on. They've just said, they've said a couple of them what they look like in terms of the shape, but they haven't said anything else.
Yeah, I think the issue is, so the first one, the China have claimed, but they claim it's just blown too far adrift and it wasn't intentional. But the other 3, they're saying wasn't them. And then they're now reporting that they're seeing surveillance balloons over their airspace. And there's another one in, I think, Romania or somewhere. So it's all a bit weird.
Yeah.
Interesting.
It's
all a bit Independence Day vibes.
Yeah, it's almost like one of my theories, right? Because this is strange, is obviously the first one was claimed by China.
Yeah.
But then there's 3 others. Like, unless they don't want to escalate anything, it wouldn't make sense for them not. I mean, 1 was over Canada and 3 were over the US. And then the US have obviously said that they haven't retaliated or other than shooting them down. And then a few have appeared over China, which is pissing China off. Now, there's either a separate country trying to escalate between the two of them.
Oh yeah.
Or, well, I'm saying this as if it's definite. Or if we go down the UFO route, maybe the UFOs have looked at what China have created and then they've mimicked it. And now they're placing it. Because why is there some in China and now there's one over, I think it's Romania. It's an Eastern European country. So yeah, they're kind of popping up everywhere, and it's all very, very strange. And I mean, I think what kind of set this off, this whole thing, was that the US government refused to rule out the possibility that it was extraterrestrial.
Yeah, it's
really interesting.
It's a curveball, isn't it? Because I don't know when the last one of these happened, probably like quite a while ago. And then the first one was like, oh yeah, it's China. So it leads you to believe that the rest, they've got something to do with it. You know, like no smoke without fire.
Yeah.
But then it's like, yeah, there could be lots of other explanations. But the fact they admitted to the first one is like, oh, okay.
Yeah.
Then turn around and obviously said that they've spotted the same sort of thing, and then blamed America for having the same.
Yeah, that's like typical, like, I don't know, kid tactics, isn't it? It's like, oh, so-and-so said this. It's like, yeah, but so-and-so said this, or I don't know. Well, we've got one at us too. It's just weird. It's like really? It's like, but then is that, like I said, is that someone playing games?
Yeah. But the other thing, I mean, we say it's a balloon. Apparently, they're actually like octagonal. And it's actually, I don't know if the first one was a balloon, but the other ones have been octagonal, and it's been confusing the pilots. So I've got here.
Okay.
So the USAF F-16 pilot who shot one of them down was heard debating on audio about the unidentified object, and an exchange can be heard between the pilots as they hurtle through the air, in which one says, "I wouldn't really call it a balloon. I don't know what it is. I can see it outside with my eyes." Military officials have described the object as an octagonal structure. The pilots, understandably stunned, begin debating that what the odd object should be named. "I'm going to call it like a container," says one of the pilots. "Can't really tell, though, what the shape is, the size of it, and that would be the challenge. That would be challenging. It's so slow and so small, I just can't see it." So they're actually struggling to shoot it down. They next ponder the size of the object, with one describing it definitely smaller than a car. So yeah, it wasn't like massive, but they'd never seen one before.
Well, I don't get the purpose of it. Like,
what if it was a weather balloon, or
if it is a spy? What's it? What is it? What's its purpose?
So the objects. I know that the balloon that China admitted was a balloon.
Yeah.
Crossed over several areas in which the USA had military.
Right. Okay. So it's taking like aerial pictures, I guess.
I guess so. That's probably what they thought it was doing.
Just seems very like World War II-ish, don't it? It's like what, nowadays, nothing's left out in the open. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Nothing's secret. So it's going to be like lying in an airfield.
Yeah.
And like you could, if you're China and you want an aerial picture, like you've surely got like operatives in the USA that could just like fly a little drone up. It would be, rather than, I don't know, sending these weird air balloons over, just that could potentially start a war.
Isn't it? Well, apparently tensions are rising between the two anyway.
Yeah.
I've got a like day by day thing here, or not day by day, but a breakdown of what happened when. But yeah, I just think it's really interesting.
I mean, the obviously the balloon one is, we know what that looks like because we've seen it. But the other three that they've spotted, one of them mentioned, I think you mentioned that it was like kind of small car in size, or it's just smaller than a small car.
Yeah.
And it had been flying 40,000 feet. in the air and travelled in the direction of the North Pole without any system of propulsion or control. That's what the US have described it as. That was shot down over Alaska on February the 10th. The second one was cylindrical, according to them, in shape, and was spotted over Canada's Yukon Territory on Friday evening. It was shot down on the Saturday. And the last one was octagonal, like the one you were describing. They said Saturday afternoon, just north of the US border in Canada, fighter jets scrambled from Oregon were unable to maintain detection of it as the sun set. The following day, it was picked up again in Montana, tracked across Wisconsin, and shot down above Lake Huron in Michigan. Officials have not publicly commented on its shape, but one speaking anonymously said it had an octagonal structure with no visible sensors. So that's the information I got on the other three. It's weird. It's weird that they're all spotted in, I'd say, within 10 days of each other, and 3 of them within like 2 or 3 days of each other, which is very weird. And they're all different kind of shapes and described different.
Yeah, I mean, the thing with them spotting more, the only thing that like does give evidence to this is once they found the first one, they recalibrated all their radar to go like lower, I think, or more.
That's interesting.
And so it's kind of like, yes, they've found more, but they're actually actively looking for them.
Yeah, that makes sense.
But still, it's strange that the following 3 didn't look the same as the Chinese balloon, which would add credibility to the fact that it wasn't China that is doing it, other than the first one. And if they, I mean, I know they're likely to say this, but obviously, you know, it is quite possible that it just blew past where they intended it to go, you know, but it doesn't explain these other 3 on the 10th, 11th, and 12th.
Yeah, because apparently the balloons can fly as high as 120,000 feet, which is, just to put it in perspective, pretty much like 3 times the amount or the height at which commercial airliners normally fly at.
Yeah.
Double the height at which military aircraft normally fly at. So they're fucking high.
Yeah, they've probably been doing it for since they've had the technology, haven't they? Probably doing it for years. If it's not getting picked up before, they're like, I'll just keep. Yeah,
it's weird that it's just like almost pointless point, but it's weird how the US just thought, fuck it, we'll shoot a missile at it when it's a balloon, presumably just like a few rounds from like a cannon on an aircraft would have done the job, instead of they decided to fire a missile.
Yeah, I mean, if it is UFOs, imagine it's some little guy traveling down to like try and get peace, and
he gets shot down,
just shoots it down, and they're like, okay, yeah, these people on this earth are hostile. They've shot us all down.
Yeah,
I think we should have bought this peace mission.
Yeah.
That's
weird.
The
other 3 guys? They're gone, mate. They've been shot down.
They're dead. It's weird how I've never thought of that kind of perspective of it. Maybe the aliens are noticing what we or China looks like they're flying in the air, and sending across the world. So they're like, oh, if we mimic that and then kind of, you know, try and mingle in somehow, assimilate ourselves. But yeah, you get shot down straight away. Strange decision though, to just for me. I don't know how. I'm not a scientist. I'm not like an engineer of any description. But to put that sort of payload or that sort of equipment onto a balloon seems a bit rudimentary, without being offensive.
I'm like, how much information can you get from aerial photos? I mean, I have no idea. So maybe there's a lot. Maybe they're looking for like anti-missile like type devices to see what defenses they've got or something. I don't know, but I just think I'm like, nowadays surely like lots of stuff is hidden anyway. Like if I was making something that you didn't want to be seen from the air, it'd be pretty well covered up.
Well, you'd want it to be.
I just see this is the thing. I think it's very important the fact that the guy didn't rule out extraterrestrials like that. That's like almost unprecedented that someone in that capacity dealing with an immediate threat. It's not like, oh, that was 20 years ago, and yeah, do you know what? Maybe it was. This is like right here, right now. They're saying they can't rule out extraterrestrial. I just feel like with the Pentagon releasing the videos a few years ago now and all this sort of stuff, and just the almost like, I don't know, just the rationalization of extraterrestrial life.
Yeah, I know what you mean. Yeah.
I just feel like they're literally just drip feeding us, preparing society for the reveal sort of thing.
Yeah.
I feel like him saying
it's like a warm up, isn't it? It's like
I feel like that is
I know what you mean.
Yeah, I feel like that's what that kind of is leading towards. Because there's no need for him to even say that. He could just rule out, even if they knew it was, he could just say, no, they've, it doesn't exist, or they've never visited, or, all that sort of stuff, and just shoot it down straight away. Rather than entertaining it.
Yeah. Unless they're like playing games with each other, like media games but yeah, it's bizarre.
Yeah, it's weird because they're playing even the government now are playing into it just enough that you could either think, oh well, they're clearly they're joking, or they're, like you say, preparing us, drip feeding us. Because I think it was, I don't know if it's the White House spokeswoman, when she commented on it, she said, "There's no indication of aliens. I loved ET, but I'll leave it there." And it's like, okay, we're gonna that's leaning into it, a little bit, which can create kind of, I don't know.
Yeah, it's almost like, say, 20% of the population definitely thought there was aliens. Like doing something like this, it's gonna increase it, or 30%, it's gonna convert another chunk. And like you say, if they were to have something planned on the agenda to release it, it's a good stepping stone towards it.
Yeah.
Especially with the past stuff like the TikTok and all these other things. But then I just don't trust the government. So it's like,
but they've also reversed their whole narrative, because these are literally balloons, right? Or like seem to be balloon shaped. In the Roswell incident, after it got shot down or crash landed, they said, oh, it was a weather balloon.
A weather balloon, yeah.
And now if there's one fucking thing you could get away with calling a weather balloon, it is literally video footage of balloons, but they haven't. Instead, they've gone the complete opposite and actually said it could be extraterrestrial.
It's interesting, isn't it?
Yeah. They could have easily palmed this off as weather balloons blown astray, but they haven't, which is
also as well, like I said, maybe it's the height thing, but surely if you're shooting them down, we've got equipment that could go up and get it, or like retrieve
to collect it,
rather than just shooting it down, or like at least go up, put something on, and then track it, so that when we shoot it down, you can get bits of it to find out what it is, what it's been doing. Because at this point, they're just, oh yeah, we shot it down. It's like, but you don't know what it was doing. So whether it's like China, another country, we don't know what technology was in it and what its purpose is, which is, I would have thought that you would want to get that. That would be like your main priority. It's like, well, what's the object doing?
Yeah, I don't know. The actual one described as a balloon, the Chinese spy balloon, the one they shot down, and it was recovered from.
It was recovered. Oh, okay.
The only thing they've said about it is that they have found significant debris from the site, including all of the priority sensors and electronics.
Which they believe is used for eavesdropping.
But that's as far as they've gone. They haven't said, this antenna does this, this thing does this. They've put that camera on there purely for this reason. So they haven't actually described anything that they've found in any detail. They've just said they found significant debris, basically.
I wonder how sophisticated it is. Like, say, because I'm just thinking of like aerial footage and that. But if it's proper advanced and it can zoom into like maybe a group or cluster of people and even pick up talking. I mean, that sounds ridiculously advanced, but I
Yeah.
don't know. I don't know how advanced this
Yeah,
information is.
the problem is that we're kind of, without shunning the Chinese, without like pushing them, completely closing them off, they are pretty much not able to access anything that we really have in
That's true.
terms of
Yeah.
the technological advancements. I don't think they're allowed to get any technology from the US
Right.
or us. So I don't. It's kind of unknown. You don't know what capability they have as a country to produce this sort of stuff.
Yeah. Yeah.
So it could be at the same time very high tech, but also on the other hand, it could be just like, I don't know, a few GoPros strapped on a on a balloon. You just don't
On a
know.
drone.
Yeah. But yeah, it's the whole thing is weird, and I think over the last like couple of years, stuff has always kind of happened around the new year, like this. Obviously,
Yeah, it is. Yeah, you're right.
it does seem to kind of pipe up like New Year, new, I don't know, New Year, new balloon or something. I don't know.
Yeah, new war, new
Yeah,
conspiracy, new
yeah,
like
Yeah.
shit yourself for a bit.
Yeah.
yeah. But it's interesting that they decided to shoot it down when it was, well, not going to potentially harm anyone.
Yeah, they waited till it was out of the
They
way.
waited quite a long time for it to be shot down, which I think's fair enough. But at the same time, like, if it is like a absolute, 100% threat right now, do you allow it to? Obviously, I would imagine it would be able to relay data. I don't think it's something that you expect to come back. So I'm guessing they've already got the data that they kind of wanted to get out of it. I don't know. The Chinese, I don't know.
So the reports of the initial balloon, people saw it, didn't they? So obviously they had to come out
Yeah.
and say what it was. But obviously, if no one would have saw it, then they probably wouldn't have even released it on the media, would they?
Yeah, this is a thing that goes back to like old UFO sightings.
Mm.
The reason they could like downplay it a lot is because there was so little,
No
like
recordings.
large
Yeah,
numbers of evidence of people going, "Well, I've literally got a photo of it. So what are you going to say to that?" So I think that's probably a little bit why they're playing a little into it, maybe just because you can't have that plausible deniability if is there's people like, I've got video footage of it, I'm sending it
yeah,
to the news, it's on the news.
yeah.
So,
That is
but yeah,
the good thing about nowadays, isn't it? We've got our own. Everyone has got a phone. People have got drones. Like we can do our own investigating.
yeah.
Yeah, absolutely.
It is weird as well how different these are to the Tic Tac.
Mm.
If they obviously are in alien nature, craft or whatever. Um, that is almost worlds away from, something that you can't really track on radar, and something that the Air Force have obviously massive issue with tracking, and we've seen from the video, the famous Tic Tac video.
Yeah,
Going from that to now something that they've tracked for multiple days and then just shot down. That's the difference between that is quite.
I mean it looks fairly big, really. I'm going from the images in the sky, and
So I was just reading what the White House spokesperson said, right? This is why it's not a UFO, okay? The object displayed no unknown technology and failed to resist the missiles that blew them out of the air. So basically, if it had a force field, then yeah, it was an alien. Because it
Yeah.
didn't, it's not. Okay. Just because they're
yeah,
aliens
so the
doesn't
old
mean they...
witches, isn't it?
Yeah, literally.
Yeah.
Oh, well, it got blown up, so
Can't be
it
an
can't be an
alien 'cause
alien.
we
She
killed it.
drowned, so she can't be a witch.
Yeah, that's a
Fucking
weird
idiot.
mentality. That is. I was looking earlier on those missiles that they fired a missile at. I think it cost like $400,000 per missile.
Gee.
Maybe they did have to fire a missile at it. It's very American though, isn't it? So let's shoot it, or let's shoot it properly. If we're gonna do it,
Maybe as well, it's like a bit of a test to go, okay, so fly it in and see what they've got to shoot it down,
Yeah.
like how accurate it is, how long it takes them. You know what I mean? Just like sending a like a decoy or whatever, and so, okay. And so even that information, how long it took them to react, where they did it, what they did, and they're like, oh, okay, cool. So we could, because what's worrying is with these balloons, they could potentially send one over with like with a bomb attached to it.
Yeah.
Or multiple. If there's like 3 of them up there, they could have like, rather than, you know, obviously I think once with missile strikes, you send missiles, like it all gets alerted straight away. Like everyone, that's why we all know. But with these balloons, it seems like they didn't know they were there. So you could do like stealth bomb attacks with it, which is a bit worrying.
Yeah, absolutely.
Especially from height, if it's like above radar or above the radar that we've been using.
Yeah, because apparently I was reading it that the NORAD, I think, is their radar system. They filtered out smaller objects, and now they're filtering them back in, which is how they managed to discover the other 3.
Right. Okay. Yeah. So again, it could be like tests to like they could have been out there for ages. These other smaller balloons, just all, you know, they know the parameters and they go, oh, yeah, just send over these.
I mean, the balloon has presumably no form of propulsion. It's just taken by the natural wind, I guess, or air. I don't know. I didn't see any reports of them seeing how it actually moved in a direction that you want it to go. I think it would just kind of let it go and just hope for the best. I'm not here to have a go at China, but it's, do you know what I mean? A balloon, it just seems weird to me, unless there is a mode of propulsion or steering it. I don't know how you control it.
Yeah, it's a super slow. I mean, it's like, yeah, I can understand in the 50s using balloons, but like 2023, like, come on, up your game. I thought they'd be using like there's, you know, the TikToks rather than these balloons.
Yeah. What's that about? Come on. Right, if I just put this up quick, this is meant to be the possible route of the balloon models using high altitude wind data. And obviously, it just looks like it's on a mad one. So it goes from China and then through Alaska into the US, past obviously through Canada as well. So
or maybe from that it's like like you're slowly moving, creeping, that you just don't get noticed.
Yeah, if you move slowly, you know they can't see you.
Yeah, there's balloons like that.
Oh dear, it's weird. The whole thing's weird, and the timing of it, like I said, is just, for me, it seems to be the start of the year. There's always something that just.
What's funny about that is that obviously they found one in Canada, they found one in the US. They've got no other proof of any. They've just gone, okay, it could be from China. Let's just draw a line. I mean, there's no evidence. It hasn't left a trail saying that it could have been here. So they're literally just drawing a line and going, yeah, okay, US is here, Canada's here, China's there. Yeah, we'll just draw a nice red line. You got any proof? No.
This is the proof. What are you talking about? That red line is clearly coming from China.
I mean, it could have come from Russia, and they could have like flown it over China. I like the way they've named Russia in there as well, just in case.
Yeah,
do you know what I mean?
This bit here is called Russia.
Yeah.
No other
weird
countries.
Map, isn't it? Doesn't look like a. I mean, that I'm confused with that map.
I think it's because it's like on a
upside down,
the actual sphere, like the spherical. Because you normally see a map flat, don't you? So you see the countries like, oh, well, that's where Russia is, that's where America is, but you don't realize how close, like the tip of Russia to Alaska. They're so close to America.
There's an island between Russia and Canada. In fact, there's two. There's two little islands, and one is connected to US time, and one is connected to Russia time.
Right.
But they're literally like, I think they're about 20 minutes from each other. Okay. So you can, like, I think one's called Tomorrow Island and one's called Yesterday Island or something, or that's the nickname for it. But you can literally, within that time period, you can travel over and gain 23 hours.
Nice.
What the fuck?
Which is mad.
That's crazy. I've been reading. So apparently China came back at the US, right? This is 2 days ago, and have accused America of illegally flying US balloons into China over the past year over 10 times, right? And the
Right.
US claims that although they do have the technology, they categorically have not done that, right? Apparently, a US diplomat was planned to fly over to Beijing, but because of
Yeah.
this balloon, he cancelled, saying that it's unacceptable what they have done. And so China have kind of fired back, saying that basically what we were saying, about how they've shot down the balloons.
Yeah.
He said, we want to tell everyone here that the US frequent firing of advanced missiles used to strike down unidentified flying objects is an overreaction of excessive force. So China are basically saying, like, why are you using all this high tech stuff just to shoot a balloon? Which is quite funny. But yeah, they have denied that. They said, yeah, the first one was us. It's blown off course, but these other three, we haven't got a clue. So I just don't get it. Like, I just kind of feel like, I don't know if they just thought, oh, we could get away with one. We don't really want them to think we've done all four. But then why would they all look different? But if you've done one and you're saying it's blown off course, could you not just be like, look, we fucked up and they blew off course massively? Sorry. But you have done 10 in the last year. So we've only done 4. So shall we call it quits? Instead of saying we have not got a clue about the other 3.
Yeah. It's interesting how different the other 3 are as well. Like, unless like going like meta with their thinking and think, well, if we make these other 3 surveillance, whatever they're going to be, craft, we make them so different to each other, they won't know that they're all from the same country. But at the same time, I personally don't think they would be from China. I don't know. It just doesn't make sense.
One journalist has said, like, what are the chances that alien like surveillance balloons would pop up like a week after a giant Chinese surveillance balloon was shot down, which does make sense. But then maybe they're just watching us invisible in outer space, just watching what we're doing, and they just think, oh, they don't seem to like balloons, so let's see what they do to ours.
I think there's an opportunity here. Let's go.
Yeah. Or maybe I don't know, maybe they absorb our technology by being shot by it. Maybe they're like, let's see what they do. So let's see what they have so that we can plan around it.
Yeah, I do like the flex from the Americans there when you were reading out that. And they said, well, we've got the technology to do that, but it ain't us.
Oh, yeah, we can do it.
We'd delete you in a second, but we won't do it.
Yeah. If I see, but this is the other thing, right? Now this is a bit morbid. If I was an alien, just sat in my ship, just maybe a couple of 1,000 miles outside of our atmosphere, I was just like observing everything, and I knew tensions between China and the US were rising, I would be like, cool, I wonder what happens if they really go for each other. So I would probably prod it a little bit.
Yeah.
I don't want to see what would happen because as a human on this planet, because it'll probably end in nuclear war and we all die. But like I say, if I had no, if I was just floating by and I just found a civilization, yeah, I'd maybe send a few balloons. I'd even like stamp the Chinese flag on it. It's like, yeah, it's definitely there. Can you imagine that? They're like, you're saying it's not yours, it's got your flag on it, and they're just well, anyone could print a fucking flag on it. So imagine that, a super secret surveillance balloon, and you print your flag on it.
Yeah, I mean, yeah,
It's just
stamp a load
made
of
in
Chinese
China
writing.
on the
Yeah,
bottom.
yeah, made a load of Chinese writing on it.
Yeah.
Yeah, it wouldn't surprise me to find out that Mr. Beast really gone quite edgy with his content creation. And just,
yeah.
Let's just start.
I copied a Chinese air balloon, and it got shot down 4 times. And then I gave £100,000 to the team that went and collected it.
It might have caused World War III.
Yeah. I caused World War III. Fucking hell.
I mean, to be fair, he has said on record, Mr. Beast, that he's got videos due to come out after certain periods.
Yeah,
in his life.
he's got one that comes out when he dies.
Yeah. So
that's quite cool. Yeah, I might do that. Because all you got to do is you got to schedule it for a certain date, and then if you're still alive, you just push it back.
Yeah,
that's interesting.
And then when you die, you can't unschedule it.
That's true. Well, you can forget.
Yeah.
Imagine it comes out.
I might just, you know what? Not the whole dying thing. I might just make a video and schedule it for like 2050.
Yeah,
that's quite a cool idea.
But if YouTube's still here,
yeah, that's mad.
That is a cool idea.
That would be quite good actually. Yeah, just scheduling a load of videos. Probably quite a good channel. I mean, if you started it and then you waited, time capsule. So you're like, look, I'm filming this. So you're just making content, but like, I mean, it'd be really hard to do because your current couldn't be current, but like just time capsules would be quite funny.
Fucking hell. I could like make up a load of lies about current time and then put it so far in the future it like alters their understanding of history. Like, I don't know.
Yeah,
like COVID made zombies, but we managed to kill them all. And then in 100 years' time, they're like, "Oh my god, did you hear they covered up that COVID made zombies, but they managed to kill them all? That's crazy." So there you go.
We've been killing people for 50 years who have suspected to have COVID.
Yeah,
they might turn into a zombie.
Yeah.
On that, when I was traveling, I did it a few times, but I used to write a text to myself for 6 months in advance because I wouldn't know. I wouldn't know where I'd be or anything. And yeah, it was just interesting. No, I didn't send the text. It was just like in note form.
Oh, right, like a draft.
Yeah, but I'd put the date on it, and then I'd go into it 6 months later.
That's cool.
That's cool.
Yeah, and just look at it and be like, okay, and then I'd do it again. I think I did it twice.
Nice.
I mean, yeah, it's good when you're traveling. Probably not so good in normal life because you're doing pretty much the same stuff. Here. But yeah,
I'm still breathing. Fuck.
Oh dear. Well, you gotta love those sort of predictions. I mean, some of our predictions just for football have been horrendous. So imagine predictions would be for the human race.
For human race.
I don't know if we have like overall kind of pessimistic view of the human race because I think we've all kind of said at one point we're fucked.
Yeah, but at the same time, I don't. I think that even with global warming and shit, I think we'll just figure it out. We'll just persevere because we just always do. I just think we'll always, even in the final hour, even if it's not like utopia and fixing it, we'll find a way to like push it back.
Push it back.
Or we'll just all get on boats. And then when the ice caps rise, we're on boats.
That's it.
I mean, we solving issues.
At this point in time, we really do have to just innovate our way out of it. There's no way.
Yeah.
We're kind of past that.
We can't just cut back and just hope for the best. It's not going to work now.
Yeah. I mean, I saw something fucking shocking, man. I think it's like Canada's promise for net zero carbon dioxide output over the next 25 years. What they will save in like their pollution, China will undo in like 6 months because of the level of pollution. So it's just, I don't want to be defeatist, but if it's going to take you 25 years for another country to fuck up in 6 months,
Yeah.
What's the point?
That's the stupid thing about it, is that all we're doing is moving it. So like we all consume and buy stuff that all comes through Amazon, different places that gets made in China. So it's like you can't. This hub here might be carbon neutral, but like if you're importing, if you keep importing loads of stuff that isn't carbon neutral, like even if that travel process is carbon neutral, like that's all getting made for this place. So it's like you can't blame China when it's like they're making stuff for us. It's like you've got to carbon neutral China if you want to. Do you know what I mean? It's weird, isn't it? It's silly.
No,
like
is.
You've got to sort that. You can't be like, oh yeah, we're carbon neutral, but we just we buy stuff.
Yeah,
we delivered it to you in a electric van. What else do you want?
Go. Yeah,
you know?
But we had to dump the lithium battery because that ran out. Okay, cool, nice.
Yeah.
Nice.
I saw a shocking thing that don't know who it was, podcast somewhere, but just a guy saying like if you're in the West, you've got like clothes, food, an iPhone, laptop, just like your basic things that everyone's pretty much got, or a smartphone. You're connected to like 30 to 40 different forms of like human slavery.
Jesus, yeah.
I
know we spoke about it the other week. Those fucking quarries to get like the material for like the batteries for iPhones. They're supposed to have health and safety. You'd have about 150 people in there. They've got 15,000 people on their hands and knees just wading through rock.
Yeah.
That's the thing. Insane. So unless you literally go and live in a bit of wood somewhere, and live off the land,
if you're preaching about global warming, tweeting it off your iPhone,
it doesn't.
Nah,
it doesn't have that same effect. I think.
No, exactly. But that's that. I was going to say something, but I've forgotten. That's annoying. It was along these lines. Can't remember.
I do hate that.
Yeah, that might come back to me. What were we saying just before the quarries?
About Slate, the amount.
Oh no, you said if you have an iPhone. Oh, that's it. There's something else which is crazy. Did you like they say like, oh, the 1%, oh, the 1%, the 1% rule the world, oh, the 1%, the financial 1%. Did you know if you earn over 30 grand a year, you were in the 1%?
Yeah.
If you earn 30 grand a year, you're in the top 1% in the world.
Oh, okay, right. I see.
Yeah. I think that's
we're so privileged, like in the UK. Just it's whether you've got a job or not, or whatever you're doing in the UK. Like if you've got internet and like a phone, like you're already so much in the top percentile.
Yeah,
it's crazy. On a global scale.
Yeah, when you add perspective to the mix, it just makes you sound like a whining bitch.
And then you throw into the mixer that you're actually human and you've been born. Like the odds of all that happening.
Oh yeah, fucking hell.
Yeah, we are very lucky.
Yeah, we're worrying about
in the UK. If you earn over 100k, you're in the top 2%
of the UK.
If you're male and 1% if you're women. Yeah. But yeah,
it's crazy.
What? Did you know in the UK, 43% of adults? No, this can't be right. 43% of adults pay no income tax. So that means that 43% of adults earn under £12,000 a year.
Is it?
Surely not.
Is it like retired as well?
Yeah, quite possibly.
Yeah,
because that's another growing problem. Is that
everyone's getting
not
older.
old, but
China could collapse because of the amount of old people they have and lack of young people.
It's a massive. It's because as well financially within the government system, all the money to fund the old people is coming from the young people, essentially. So business tax, all taxes and everything will just keep continuing as we get an aging population.
Yeah.
And the ratio now is like, I think it's like 2 2 to like 7, 8, or 9, something like that. It used to be the other way around as well. Yeah, it used to be like, which is why I don't think there'll be state pensions and stuff in like another 20 years.
I think they'll be gone because the amount that they're costing at the moment. And to be honest, like, if you get someone and they haven't got a private pension, they're only living off their state pension, it's just peanuts, man.
Yeah, it's
but
not
how much it costs because of how many people there are of that age is just ridiculous.
And it's also why they've put the working age up. So I think retirement age now, or the working age, is like, I'm sure it used to be 65, but I'm sure they've increased it now to like 70.
I was going to say, I think it's pushing 70.
Yeah,
which
I think
is
it's
like, it's fucking mental, isn't it?
Yeah. But at the same, I know two of my uncles retired recently, right? They've just gone to reduced hours because they'd just be bored shitless. If they just retired. So
that,
like
I mean,
Uncle Phil, he works
definitely
3 days
get that. The trouble is, it's like when you elongate that time, obviously other mortgages or other things fit in that, and then because we're human and most of us, like, we get on that monthly cycle, you're just locked in to like 70 years. Like I say, I think working is good. There's lots of stats saying that if you keep, actually retiring can be completely retiring can be bad. You can deteriorate quite quickly. I think. Sorry, right? Yeah, so having the choice whether you can work or want to work is the thing, I think.
Yeah, absolutely. I think Donald Trump said about this guy that he knew, and he's like one of the sharpest, fucking best businessmen I've ever known. He retired and he was dead within a year.
Yeah, it can happen.
Like,
It used to happen to a lot of army
faded away.
Army full timers that leave. Not so much. I think it's slightly come down there, but yeah, people who did the full 22 once they're retired, because they're so active in those 22 years, that the death rate was quite high for quite a young age after.
Yeah. So that's full 22. So what? So if you can retire at 40?
Yeah. It's changed now, but like when I joined, you used to be able to retire at 40 and get so I think you get a half pension at 40 now. Okay. And there was a stage when you'd get full pension. I don't know what it is now. I know that obviously this was 20 years ago. Like when I joined, it was quite a good pension system, but they've just cut it. It's not as good anymore at all.
Fucking mad.
But yeah, obviously, if you think sort of pre that, 20 years before I joined, or 30 years, like, the average living age wasn't that high. So like, they could afford to, you're full 22. But yeah, 40 now seems just, it's young, man.
Yeah, that's mad. That's the dream.
Yeah, you get a golden handshake, and then I think you get half pension. I'll ask my mate who's just done full 22.
Yeah.
Well, 22 years.
Man.
Imagine if like all them years, like we're in war. 22. I mean, to be honest, like we're involved in everything, so probably was quite active during all the time. But
yeah, I think back in the day, yeah.
It's weird, like how you imagine going from that environment where it's like you drilled, everything is, how it should be. You've got your assignments, you've got how obviously you live with everyone, and then you go and try and find at 40, say you've done the 22 years, you go, right, what am I going to do now? Everything you do, if it's not in security, if it's not in anything similar to that, is going to be so different to what you've had experience in. It's going to be really difficult to adapt to, even if you do try and find another job. If you want, even something part time, like, I don't know, being on a checkout or something, you're going to be so worlds away from what you were doing before. And I think that probably plays in maybe a little bit to why they die so early, is because they literally don't know where to go or what to do.
Yeah, I think, like I say, I think nowadays, like I say, I mean, I can only go from what the army was like when I was in 20 odd years ago, but Yeah, nowadays I think it's a lot easier. You do transitional periods as well to like do resettlement and stuff to help you when you get out.
Right.
And you've got obviously an abundance of skills that you've learned. But yeah, I think when you've done that long in there, that probably, especially if say you've done 22 when you joined.
Yeah.
Obviously, it's always going to be stricter in the army than it is in civilian life. I imagine. Yeah. I don't know because I don't know about it now, but I still imagine that's the same. I still imagine that it's a lot stricter in the army than it is in civilian life. So like that crossover of like asking people to do stuff and go like in the army and stuff, like when I was in, it's just you get told to do something, you go and do it, you don't question it.
Yeah.
Whereas in other workplaces, it's just different to that. So I guess that could be like hard to adapt to.
Yeah, I suppose it would be like thinking about like
loads of different jobs in the army.
Yeah, well, thinking about it, if you're like a mechanic or you're an engineer or something, then yeah, you'd be, obviously be able to go and do something engineer like. But it's more the interaction with people. I think would be hard if you're going from that environment where you're told or you tell people to do what you want them to do and they do it, and then you go somewhere else and you're like, well, I can't get this person to do this, and it turns out, you're speaking to them rude, so they don't do it.
Yeah.
It's a bit of a nightmare, but yeah, it's unfortunately what they have to go through.
Good question. I haven't really followed this in the chat. Don't know if either of you have. I know it's quite surprising, maybe, with what I do, that I haven't followed this. But what do you think happened to that Nicola Bully? You know, the woman that was in the river, or supposed to be in the river? I haven't really followed it, to be honest.
I've seen. I've only come across it a couple of times on YouTube, like a couple of clips. I don't know if it was like BBC News or GMB News, whatever the fuck it is, where they've had like a diver on who's been talking about how the police are maybe not doing this correct. They haven't done that correct. He's got his own theories on what might have happened. But it does seem increasingly like the police have maybe not followed the procedures 100% at the moment.
Yeah.
Oh wow.
They're getting a lot of shit at the moment, the police. To which I think I don't know if it was like a sort of press release they had the other day where they started they didn't outright blame anyone, but they're saying like, well, it doesn't help when we have the public coming up with these conspiracy theories and try and lead us astray and stuff. But unfortunately, now you're going to have to rely on the public giving you information to try and follow up, and it always has been that way. So why should it be any different now? If you don't do the job that you're meant to do when you start it, then you have to rely even more on information from the public. So it felt a bit weird that they attacked the public. Maybe just shift the blame. I don't know, but yeah, they are getting a bit of shit at the moment.
Yeah, it's a bizarre one. Yeah, it's very strange. Obviously, they've combed all of the area, looked in like all the is it a lake or is it a river or?
I think it's a river, but I saw something earlier today that apparently, unless she was like pushed in, she could have just stood up and it would have been waist height.
Oh, what, in the water? Okay.
Yeah, that's the thing. Especially where her phone was, because they found her phone and the dog, didn't they?
Yeah.
Yeah, it's a very bizarre situation.
Yeah. It is a mystery. I should probably look into it a little bit, but I thought I'd kind of hold off until it's, well, if it ever does, but if it's been, when it gets sold.
Yeah, I know what you mean. Yeah, because at the time it could be, because obviously there might be stuff that we don't know yet.
Yeah.
Which I've seen a few people say that about the police. I haven't followed it too much, but yeah, just saying that they haven't done the correct procedure, which is also interesting.
Yeah.
But again, it's like, although they might have not done the correct procedure, like it still happened. Like that, obviously, it wasn't them who caused it to happen, for her to go missing. So it's interesting.
Yeah,
it's a complete mystery, isn't it? Like she's completely disappeared.
Yeah, very, very strange.
Strange one. And I don't know how far along they are in any form of investigation in terms of following leads, but I'm sure there'll be one bit of information that gets released in the next few days or weeks that kind of leads us down a road. I don't know. But yeah, it's a strange one. Just because it's strange because of how the dog and the phone were just there.
Yeah.
So you naturally think, okay, well, maybe she has just fallen into the water. But then it seems weird that the phone would be there. I mean, why would you drop the phone and then just jump in the water? Unless it was like, I don't know, attempt to take your own life. I don't know.
Yeah, Matt just said apparently a lot of people are angry at the police because they spent 2 weeks just searching the river when there was no evidence she was even in there.
Right. Yeah. Okay, that makes sense.
Kind of wasted time.
Explore other options and
yeah,
which makes sense because, like I say, it could be lots of things.
Yeah.
I guess. Yeah, and also if there's nothing alluding to her doing that, it's like, well, look, don't be tunnel vision on that. Yeah, that makes sense now.
Interesting.
It's in a question, but Mohammed Ahmed. Apparently, they've brought out this alien stuff because Jeffrey Epstein's list was being exposed.
It wouldn't surprise me. Like that whole thing is just fucked because, like, he apparently killed himself. He didn't, but that was kind of the thing. And then it was just all ended. It's like, well, hang on, you still have his little black book of contacts.
Yeah. What's going on with that?
But that just got nothing ever came of it.
Yeah.
So hang on, just because he's dead doesn't mean that like the people associated with him are.
Yeah, that's the thing as well, isn't it? It's like obviously Jeffrey Epstein was awful, and his associates the same are awful.
Yeah.
But the people who are supposed to be serving justice, it's all mixed, unfortunately.
Oh yeah. They'll have shit on
which is why it's probably never ever going to come out. And it's like when the people who protect it, when the people who serve up the justice system for the corrupt people are the people who are the corrupt. It's like it's just such a broken system.
Absolutely, that's why there's that theory that the CIA hired Jeffrey Epstein to get these high-profile people into these certain situations, predicaments, to take pictures of them, so they'd always have stuff. And I don't doubt that high-end judges and stuff were amongst those people. If presidents were, then I certainly think that people like that would be too.
No. Bye. See you later.
Hello.
Love you.
Hello.
Love you. See you soon.
Bye. Have a nice time.
Bye. So yeah, I think it's very weird, but it wouldn't be the first time that media has been used to distract us. I mean, I can't remember what was going on now because this is just how the media just blur your memory. But I remember something big was going on. Then all of a sudden we had the Johnny Depp and Amber Heard thing that was just everywhere, and it just kind of put. I can't remember what it was. It might have even been Russia invading Ukraine. I can't remember, but yeah, it was just sort of sidelined for that for a few weeks. We just have this. I often find if something like strange is in, or something that like isn't really, not important, but it isn't like pivotal to the world is going on and it's really pushed, you should maybe look around the edges to see what's really going on. Like what's going on right now, because we've got 3 like UFO balloons being blown up. It's like, okay, so what's going on behind the scenes right now?
Well, it's like kind of the effectively look at the shiny.
Yeah, because the economy's fucked, and you're paying. It's like, oh, look at how much the gas price. The petrol prices have come down. It's like it's still £1.60 per liter. Like it's not cheap. Oh, but it's not £2 anymore. Aren't you lucky? You should be happy about this. Now fuck off. It's just like that. It's like, well, hang on a minute. Like last year, it was £1.10. You know, oh, but it's 40p less than it was 6 months ago. Be happy.
Yeah.
So,
what I found, I was thinking about this the other day. It's just
the Prince Andrew settlement stuff. I think you're right, and then the Amber Heard thing was like, boom.
Yeah.
The like the we're in like a crisis at the minute, a financial crisis, recession, and you've got all the oil companies making
billions
and billions of profits, and like obviously it's not their fault, it's supply and demand, but it's like you can put in the government can put in stuff like they've put in things that say, you know, we'll give you some money back or we'll help fund it. It's like, but the government are getting that money from them anyway because they'll be getting the tax from them. So it's just like cap it. It makes no difference to those companies because it's like I say, it's a supply and demand thing. They've just been fortunate because we're in the right place, so people are paying more money for it. But they can cut the profits.
I mean,
for the greater good.
We mentioned Jordan mentioned earlier on, if you're earning above 100,000, you're in the top 1% in the UK. I mean, the MPs are pretty much in the 1%. I mean, they're very, very close, and their pay's going up as well.
Also,
they get that every year.
Yeah, so they get their wage, which is actually a minimal part of their whole subsidy.
Yeah,
so
they get expenses.
They get all their expenses. They get, like all their meals. I think I was reading a thing about their food bill or restaurant bill for meetings. Like it's insane. It's like stupid money.
Yeah.
Transport. There's so many benefits to doing it, and then there's all the backenders that they get. That you line up with businesses, get this through, get that through. Like, you know, you can't invest directly, but your brother or your uncle or your aunt can have an equity share in the company. Like they're set when they come out, they're set, and I think someone's saying that they still get paid that salary.
Yeah, like so if what's her name, Elizabeth? Yeah, she can get legally. I don't know if she claims it or not, but legally she can get paid the wage for being prime minister for about 20 days for the rest of her working life.
I think it's at 150 a year. I think something like that.
Mad, isn't it?
Yeah.
Like what an incentive just to get in.
Yeah.
Yeah. Fuck it.
She might have been super smart and just gone, do you know what? I'm going to get in, do my 20 days, and I'm just going to chill out.
Yeah. I don't know whether she took it or not. I don't know. But that is, as a rule, even if, I don't know, say Rishi Sunak does his full term for the rest of the term and then just leaves after that, he can still get paid that ridiculous amount of money, even if he's not doing that.
It's like I think I said this before, the US president, so Donald Trump, for example, for the rest of Barack Obama, for the rest of their lives, they are entitled to full Secret Service security for the rest of their lives.
That's bad, isn't it?
Yeah.
Cool. That's a cool thing to tap into.
I'd love that, man. Just like a few people in suits, sort of like about 10 yards away from me, just like this all the time on their little earpieces, looking around. Like, I'm just like putting on the 17th green. There's snipers in the fucking rough. That'd be sick.
I mean that as well. That's Secret Service, so that they're all like, you know, these are all like top agents, all gonna be top dollar. Like I remember, I think saying about Eminem. I think he spends like about $1 million or $2 million a year just on his security.
Yeah, I'd love to be. Well, no, you know, it's a double-ended sword, but it would be cool to have to pay for security.
It'd be a good flex, but then I mean,
just having some absolutely jacked 6'7" cunt just walking behind you just forever. It's sort of like, you know, someone like cuts across you when you're driving, and they get out of their car. You're like, go on, Barry, go out there. So
Barry, Barry the brickhead.
Yeah, he just kills the man on the spot, and then we drive off. just drive over and didn't. Oh, that was silly of him to get out of his car, wasn't it?
I just imagine you like on the green and you're missing a putt, and the person you're in competition with, you just look at him and just go, I made that, didn't I?
Barry's just over at the guy's bag, just snapping his gloves.
Just like, Barry, get rid of Johnny.
Yeah. Barry's just sat there like, my name's Jason. I don't know why you keep calling me Barry. It's harder. It's a harder name, Barry. All right.
Barry the Brick House.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, man.
Why do you get me to shave my head? It's all about image, Barry. All right. I didn't want a shaved head. Well, now you got one.
Big Bear.
Archie Murdoch. He asked, what civilization would be worse off in a war between China and America? To be honest, mate, I think they'd both be fucked.
Civilization just...
I don't know.
The whole thing?
I guess so, yeah. I think we'd all be fucked to a certain extent, I'd imagine.
Who would be worse off between China and America? I do think America could take them. I do. I think we'd all lose, but I think that America would win first, and then lose when they hit the button.
Yeah, yeah. I mean, they've got such a massive amount of spending on defense.
Yeah,
America.
I love it.
That's ridiculous. Another thing, why I just out of interest, I was I don't, it's not really kind of linked to this, I guess. I was just reading for an article yesterday on the Second Amendment, because it gets brought up so often when America comes to the conversation.
I was thinking to bring this up, actually.
But you might even be bringing up the same point. But what makes America such a formidable force in terms of trying to invade is that
that's exactly what I was about to say.
You've got the Second Amendment, which obviously a load of people in America are like, we cannot remove that. It has to stay in place.
Yeah, they have the right to bear arms.
And if you try and invade the country, you've got a civilization, or it's basically the entire country is able to bear arms against you. So that's
that's interesting.
What makes
absolutely. Because if China invade, you've got the army and all that, but you also have like probably 8 out of 10 people with fucking AR-15s as well, trained and a right to use them.
Yeah, and also the mass production of guns. Like, there's never going to be a gun shortage. I don't know how many guns are in the US, but I imagine there's at least a couple for each human.
Yeah. Bullets, they got everything. Yeah. So that's I do think.
I never thought about that, to be honest. That's interesting.
Yeah, they'd lose if they invaded.
It's quite weird, isn't it? Thinking you've got a whole country of I don't know how many millions of people.
And it's not even like they'd be like they fucking like live for this shit.
Yeah.
Like Second Amendment. Like they can't fucking. They half of them probably want their government to turn tyrannical just so they can start shooting people.
Yeah, I mean, keeping a lid on all of that is actually quite crazy. Like, thinking you've got a whole country full of people with guns.
Yeah.
And actually,
I mean, what doesn't matter what you think about it in that situation, in that specific situation.
Yeah, you'd want to be there.
You'd want to be them.
Yeah.
So I'm not being funny. Zombie apocalypse.
Yeah,
I ain't got a gun.
No.
You know, if I lived out in America, I would. So, or at least, you know, you could fucking, if your neighbors get zombified, you go in their house, you're probably going to find a gun. You go in most houses, you're probably going to find a gun.
Yeah.
It's crazy. But yeah, no, I would say that I think ultimately everyone would lose in that. But I think initially, I think America would take it.
Yeah.
Have you ever been to America, like in a shop where you can? I know you can just go and buy a gun, but have you ever been into like Walmart or whatever and just gone to like a gun counter? Like that is,
it's crazy.
Mental. Yeah. Like the fact you can just go in. I don't know what. I think you just need some ID, don't you?
I don't know what.
I think you do need to do certain checks, but
because getting a gun in the UK is difficult. Like to get your shotgun license, like they do full checks. So you have to have interviews, interview family. Like it is, it's a procedure, and they dig up everything in the past.
Yeah, it's still so. It's just it's alien to me to think like, okay, I'm on a shopping trip, right?
Grab a gun.
I need some steaks. I need some potatoes. Oh yeah, I need AR-15 ammo, and I need 12 gauge. I'll pick them up at the same time.
Yeah, and the fact you can just, I guess with ammo, once you got your gun, you can just buy as much ammo as you want. You could literally buy it weekly and have
Yeah.
a stash of.
Yeah, you get a subscription to ammo. They probably do it.
Yeah, they
Probably
probably
do.
do.
Does it?
They probably do.
If they don't, business idea.
Yeah.
Oh dear. Right. Well.
Amazon.
Oh yes. Where's that one, Jeff?
There's
I like
got to
it.
be a shop out there. There has to be.
Amazon. No, if
Amazon.
there isn't, we've literally just try that.
That's ridiculous.
That's it. All right, well, I think I will leave it there.
I do need to bounce, unfortunately.
Yeah, I need to bounce as well. So yeah, thanks for joining us on this journey of espionage, possible aliens, and at the end talking about buying a gun at Walmart.
Yeah.
Enjoy yourselves. Stay safe. Hope that no bombs are found near your house. And yeah, see you in the next one. Up the APMA.
Up the APMA. See.